G'day legends, it's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here. Before we get stuck into another great interview brought to you by Crannk.com and thatmetalstation.com, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and that way you can keep up to date with all the best music and interviews from all over the world. Hey, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie metal guy here with Crannk.com and with thatmetalstation.com. And tonight, wherever you are in the world, I'm having a chat with Laurent David of Kilter. I had a chat with David a couple of years ago, Laurent, a couple of years ago for the Axiom album, man, I believe it was. How have you been in the last couple of years? What have you been up to? It's been a crazy couple of years for you, my friend.
I think it was a crazy time for everybody, but and it's not finished. But we had time, to release an EP, which is called Sis. It was in June 21. Yes, something like this. And then, but not a lot of concerts to do, and everything was maybe postponed or cancelled. So we had to wait a bit, and we are on a bigger project now here in New York, and we will put a lot of different musicians together. Who are from Montreal, from France, from Germany, Switzerland, and New York. So that's something on which we are working now.
Yeah, that does look really quite interesting. I'm reading through the press release I got through a little bit ago. When I got it, I was instantly excited for you about what's going on with you guys when Curtis sent this over. Can you tell me a little bit before we dive into that about that EP, that Sis EP? Because I didn't get a chance to really dive into it until probably about 6 months ago, man. Can you tell me about that EP and working on that one?
Of course. In fact, when we were on tour for Axiom release album, we were a lot in Europe, and we finished the tour in New York in March 20. So it was just before the pandemic. And a few days before coming back to New York, we decided to go to record something in Paris because we were on tour. We had a day off, in fact. And during the whole tour, we were in the train and planes and writing some music. And since we are three in the band, if each of us had to write something new during the tour. And at the very end of the tour, we recorded it, in fact. And when we came back to New York, everything was closed. And so we had time to continue that work, to edit everything, to make the mix. We had time to do that and to release it in June. That's really an album we made during the tour. It was really the contract we had, in fact, to continue the researches about the music we want to make, to continue that that work in the jazz metal world, and to continue that. In fact, this is really a different step and different researches we made to go to that bigger project. In fact, that's why we made it.
Yeah, and I noticed too, with that Axiom album, as you're saying, you're able to play and go on tour with that. I noticed with this Sis EP that you've kind of worked a little bit more on your online presence as well, because you couldn't have those tours, so you worked on those videos and kind of reaching people through the online world instead of relying so much on playing live. Do you think that'll help you when you're able to play live as well, to be able to mix the online presence as well as the live present, the live shows as well, to kind of boost numbers and listeners?
We didn't have the chance to play that on stage, of course.
No.
Right.
But as things open up, are you looking forward to being able to, now that you're able to have that online presence and you've been able to work that a fair bit during the COVID time, do you think that's going to help with Kilter going forward, being able to work the two mediums as well, being able to reach wider audiences?
I don't know if it will help, but I think that's really new tunes we want to play on stage because I will explain a bit what the concept of what we are doing now.
In fact, please.
Since we started, in fact, what we are writing now, it's an opera. In fact, that's an opera with a singer, choir, things like this. And every month in New York, we will play somewhere, and with the first showcase, it's the 31st
March
of
31st.
March.
Yes.
Yes, and and we will start playing the sketches and the music we are writing at the moment, and we will do that during the whole the rest of the year 22, every month. And sometimes it will be just with Kilter, sometimes with a singer, sometimes with other people with whom we are working now. And we start on the 31st of March to work with the string quartet Seven Sense and the singer Andromeda Anarchia. And Cis, in fact, the 3 tunes we made for Cis will be tunes we need because we don't have music enough for now to be on stage for maybe 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. Since we will, and we will add some music and try new things on stage with the audience. That's something we want to do because New York, it really is a place for doing that kind of things, to make researches in music and to present the music to the audience, and that only for people here. And maybe we will try to do that in Europe too next November. I'm trying to, that's not easy now, but I'm trying to book a tour in Germany, America, India in November. And we will continue that with the guitar player from Germany, who is Jan Zerfeld from Panzer Ballet. I don't know if you know that band. And Andromeda too, who will sing. And then we will try new other things, other sketches, other music we are writing for that opera. That's the concept of what we are doing now. So to answer your question, yes, this will be helpful for us, to put some tunes we have already, which are not axioms, that's also new, but we never played that on stage. We did not have the any chance to do that.
Yeah, well, the opera sounds really, really exciting for me. I'm a metalhead, but I love like jazz music. I love blues. I'll sit there with the classical radio going, listening to the operas on days as well. You know what I mean? I just love music, and it's going to be exciting. And it must have been exciting for you composing an opera as well and telling, because you're always telling your stories through musical soundscapes, and to be able to create an opera to tell a story through a musical soundscape must have been really exciting for you.
It's very exciting. You can't imagine, because there is a big team now, because there is a Will Berger, who is an author, the librettist, and we just finished that. We have the story and we have all the lyrics already, and we are in the process to write the music. That's exactly what I'm doing now. I'm working on some sheets, and that's really an interesting process, which is a bit different than what we do in a rock band usually. It's like every week we have like admin, and not admin, but we have a meeting to check about the scores, about what we do, in which way, if we have to stop writing for now, and to talk about the story and how to make it, sorry. And that really something exciting, because that the process, it's between what we do in a metal band and the jazz band too, because we want to include some improvisation in the writing process as well, and also a bit contemporary music, because we are looking for something new in how Andromeda will sing, because that she's used, to sing in operatic metal band, because her band forthcoming, that's really the purpose of it. And she did that with Imperial Triumphant too, like some choirs and things like this. And I wrote some choirs for Imperial too. That there is really a link between all that research is about the voice, how to use it when it's growling and screaming, and also operatic thing, because I don't want it to sound, I don't like that word, but I don't want it to sound cheap,
Yeah.
because Andromeda is really a lyrical singer as well, and she works the both sides, of the music. She's not joking about that, and I don't want it to sound not good enough, and we really have to find something special and to do that in details. So it takes a lot of time. We have to make some demos and try some things, and sometimes the voice will be mixed with the bass saxophone, which is playing very high, things like this, to really create a monster. In fact, something like this. That's what we try to do with Kilter since the beginning. Like on Axiom, we try to have a new bass sound to mix with it the electric bass in the bass saxophone to have like a really freaky monster sound. And now we try to do the same with the voice, to do something maybe not new, but something really specific for that project.
Yeah, and what's the plans with it as you unveil it, or will you eventually? Are you thinking of doing a video performance or an album or something with it as well? What's your eventual plans for all that?
In fact, we have to think about everything
Yeah,
since the beginning.
yeah,
And we are in touch with a big label in Germany to release
Yep.
the album maybe at the end of 23.
yeah,
And now, in parallel of writing the music, we have to find some money to make it too. So
Yeah.
that's something on which we are working, to find some money, because that's an expensive project.
And it has
And
been, because you haven't been able to play any live shows or anything like that. And that's a
we
really
will.
big part of being in a band now, because people just think, I can just listen to a song and I'm supporting. And it's like, no, go buy some albums, support a band with merch if they can't play live, because we've been hammered at the moment. And that's your point in general, getting the money together to make this album that is really exciting, that you really want to make, must be frustrating at times considering the last couple of years.
Yeah, sure. I know that. Yes, we have to wait 2 years to have it,
Yeah.
available. Yes, if people want to help, they really have to go to our Bandcamp and to buy all the merch we have. We still have a few, it's not a lot, but a few Axiom and Cis, and also T-shirts if they want to help us to finance that project, and to maybe to leave a message that I would like to be maybe to have the news about the opera, and maybe we can send some emails about what happens when we have the show. And yes, we want to be on the stage with that whole project with 16 people on stage. And it will be, I hope, at the end of 23 for a few showcases, and maybe a tour if it's working well, if people like the project, maybe on tour in 24. That's what we expect to do. In fact, it will depend if we do good music or not.
Awesome, Laurent. I'd like to talk to you as this all unfolds. I'll talk to you down the track a little bit more as this comes out, a little bit more about the opera and the story as it unfolds for everyone around the world to see. Mate, this has been an absolute pleasure to catch up with you, see how you've been and what's going on with Kilter. Hope the show goes well, March 31st. I actually wish I was over in New York so I could be there as well, man. Thank you so much. Do you have any?
You have time.
Yeah, I know I can travel now. I can. If anyone wants to pay for my ticket to New York, thank you. This has been an absolute pleasure, my friend. Do you have any last words, shout outs, or thank yous you'd like to add in there?
I would like to say thank you to all the fans we have since 2 years, because that's really amazing. We had some people who follow us from everywhere in the world. I'm used to playing a lot of jazz bands, and I'm from France. And usually, you are playing or making albums from people from your country, like in Paris, maybe a bit Belgium or something like this. But with Kilter, that's really great, because sometimes the albums, they go to Finland, they go to Mexico, they go to everywhere. So that's really something I would like to say. Like, thank you to everybody to really support us since the beginning.
Awesome. No worries. Thank you very much for joining me for a chat, mate. You take it easy, and look forward to chatting with you down the road as this all unfolds. Cheers, mate.